It's not stopping. Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. It's not stopping. Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. And now I'm here. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I had my other window up. Like, I think that is going live streaming 101, right? Well, hello, everyone. And I want to introduce you and welcome Patrick from Siser.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's exciting to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited for this to start. We were kind of reviewing everything we're going through, and I can't wait to see it all.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I'm gonna jump in and say we're doing some giveaways, and I think the easiest way is to kind of go off of comments. So, if you're feeling shy, it's time to get your keyboard out, and we're gonna be giving away a VIP pass, and then I also have a fun little Caesar package that will give it away too. So if I don't dump it on the floor. But let's begin with Patrick. Do you want to give us a quick little overview, introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much. And obviously, thank you. Like I feel like I tell you this all the time, but thank you for hosting and holding these types of events because they're so important to bring a bunch of people together that all want to learn how to elevate, whether it's their business or maybe they're just starting out for the first time, and really get a good understanding of how they can get started and what the best tools are. So it's very awesome. But like Shelly said, my name's Patrick Ali. I am the lead educator here and video production team lead at Siser North America. So that's just a fancy way of me telling you that I do all of the online training and all of the lives and summits and cool YouTube content and video content. And then my team is actually the one that creates all of that content for our marketing team and for our social team, primarily here at Siser. We are a heat transfer vinyl manufacturer. I'm going to start with Siser first because I think that that's the important one to make sure that everybody knows. And like I've said it a couple of times, it's pronounced Siser. So Siser, the company, exactly, perfect. Thank you so much. So the company Siser actually started in the 1970s. We were a vinyl and heat transfer material manufacturer for the fashion world. We're based out of Vicenza, Italy. And sometime in the 2000s, we brought all of that knowledge and that education and everything that we learned in creating heat transfer materials for the commercial world. Typically, we brought it over into the United States and we got into the craft market. So we sold our big master rolls, those big rolls that we manufacture. We started cutting them down into 12-inch rolls and 15-inch rolls so that the new business owner or the brand new crafter had a way to obtain heat transfer material, obviously for less expensive than what it typically would cost for one of those big old rolls. And thank you so much. Yes, I might be a little biased, but I think we have the best heat transfer materials in the world. But with that said, myself, I am a crafter through and through. I am somebody that I started out in the mortgage business. I was a business focused person. I was in the financial field. My wife was a stay-at-home mom. She wanted to become a crafter. She wanted to start a business. Like most stay-at-home moms, she's just looking for something to start contributing again, feeling like herself again, which was really important for us. And she bought this Cricut machine, or at the time we called it the Cry Cut, like everybody else probably did. And we started using that. Well, one night she went on ladies' night, and I know they tell this story way too much, so I apologize if you've
never heard
before,
it,
but
I've seen you a lot, so this is good.
Yeah, absolutely. So she went on ladies' night one night, and she said, "Hey, I just need you to simply hit this button. It's going to cut everything for you, and then you're going to do this thing called weeding. So you're just going to take out all the cavities." And I said, "Yeah, I got this. You go have fun. No big deal." I royally screwed up the first one. It was horrible. It was horrible what I did. But I hopped onto YouTube and I learned from people just like Shelly, and I know Ellie Mae is in here right now as well, but from all these educator types that were in our industry on how to fix this problem that I was having, was able to fix it. I got the shirt complete. I lined it up perfectly, by the way. I would just like to say that to everybody that's listening and watching. Lined it up flawlessly. And then the next day that thing became mine. So my wife and I started a business and we were using this material by this company called Siser that we had bought at, just Michael's, just like Cricut cry cut. It was Siser to us at the time.
Right,
And,
exactly.
you know, I was looking to get out of the mortgage business. And she said, hey, that, you know, that company that we use, they're hiring. And I told my wife, I said, well, you know, I don't know if we can afford to go out to Vincenza, Italy to live and just you know, uproot our lives, especially with 2 young kids. And she's like, no, their North America location is like 15 minutes from our house. So luckily enough, at the time that I was looking to leave the mortgage business, I was falling in love with craft, and we had a business of our own. Siser happened to be hiring at that time. So
The
came
perfect
in, I
storm.
met with everybody that you could possibly meet here, everyone over the course of like 2 months. And Johan, who was our managing director, finally said, you know what, he's gonna work out just fine. And you start next week. So the rest has kind of been history. So I started out in sales, and then I moved over into video. Shortly after, we had one of our video team leads leave the company, or move on to do some other things. And it's been history ever since. Now it's myself, and I know Anna's in the comments too. So it's myself and Anna just trying to figure this whole world out in marketing and social media. So I think we've been working
Yes,
pretty well.
yes. Let me
Yeah.
see. There's Anna. So
Hey,
everybody say
hey.
hi, Anna. I love that. So what did you and your wife make? Like, what was your business?
Yeah, so we started out a couple of different avenues that we went. We started out with stenciling signs. So that was like our thing at first, making welcome signs, the front porch signs, planner, front porch, address signs, anything that had to do with wood, paint, and then using pressure sensitive vinyl or sticker vinyl, if anybody knows it by that, as a stencil for our wood signs. And then it slowly migrated into t-shirts and hats and bags. As my wife was a cheerleader in high school, I was a student athlete. So it was kind of an easy avenue. We knew what those organizations were looking for, and it was really easy for us. So then it just became customizing everything. I mean, in the wintertime, we make ornaments for Christmas. Valentine's Day, we make Valentine mailboxes for all the kids at school. It's just, you know, the world, I think when you become a crafter, and especially for somebody like me, because I get asked that question a lot. I'm a male crafter in the craft world that's predominantly female driven. So like for
Yeah.
me, I just wanted to get my hands on every single thing that people were making, whether it was paper craft, wood signs, heat transfer material, etching, engraving, laser. It was all really, really interesting to me. And it was a brand new world. You kind of, as business owners, and as people will find out over this summit, is that as a business owner, you have total freedom. You have freedom to explore and be creative and try new things. Whereas a typical 9 to 5 that we work, you know, you don't always have a lot of that creativity or that time that you can set aside to really start exploring and figuring out what works for you and what you want to do long term. So it just all worked out really, really well for us.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of that same story. You start out where
Yeah.
you just find that machine.
Mhm.
And so I'm curious, those in the comments, how many
Yeah.
have a cutting machine already? And then
Mhm.
how many have a business or want to have a business already?
Yeah,
So
that's the big question, because I think a lot of people too will answer that they want a business, not realizing that they have all the foundational pieces that they're already putting together for a business. And I don't know if this was your experience really early on, but it starts out where you're just making stuff for yourself, right? It's just you start out, you're still working your regular job, but you want some custom things, or maybe you can't find exactly what you want, so you figure out a way to recreate it. Then from there, you start everybody starts kind of getting into the friends and family circle, maybe the local church, and you're
just making
making stuff for
one,
your friends and
right?
family. Yeah, until somebody finally knocks you on the head and says, hey, you should be selling this stuff. I don't understand why you're not doing it. And then that's when we realize, oh, all of that time that this has just been a hobby or just a craft to us, that there really was this business element there that, you know, you were focusing on without realizing that you were kind of learning those steps along the way. Or at least that was kind of our experience. I feel like there's a lot of people that start that way, and they don't realize that you really have a beautiful foundation to start something really awesome, as at least for yourself, and giving you kind of total freedom, which is the best part about it.
Yes. I always say that the crafter always falls into a business, and
Hmm.
then they're a little bit afraid of all the other foundational elements. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about numbers. I don't want to worry
Yeah.
about taxes, but
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
kind of leads us into the Creativepreneur Summit, because we've got
Hmm.
so many fun sessions this year that are going to help you reach that goal.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything with our notes. So if you have not been over to our website yet, we're having the Creativepreneur Summit, which this is our 4th year. We've had 3 other years of it with the Craft Business Summit, but we've kind of expanded it. And I think that kind of came after 2020. It really changed because our digital world became so big and there's so many creative things that we can do. We just dropped the link in the comments. So if you have not signed up yet, actually, Rebecca, do you want to drop the registration link? I think that was the agenda link. And then they can sign up. So the event is free. It's for 3 days, starts on May 19th through the 21st. And we're going to be going through a ton of different sessions that are going to help you build a business. And then when you leave the event, you can get back to your cutting machine and do some creative stuff. I'll lean this way so we cover up the other one.
There you go. Yeah, I'm kind of covering up Juliet back here too.
Yeah. So I'm excited about jumping in and learning a little bit more about some of the products that you have. So
Absolutely.
should we start with Leonardo?
Yeah, let's hop into it. I think that's great. So like I made mention to everybody before, Siser, we started out in the fashion industry manufacturing these materials called heat transfer vinyl, or some of you may know in the Cricut universe as iron-on material. And then we also manufacture pressure sensitive vinyl, as we call it, or sticker vinyl. But about 2 years ago, well, a little over 2 years ago now, we kind of put our heads together and we thought about what was the next evolution, not only for Siser, but what did the industry really, really need? And what it was a software and a cutting system that would allow that freedom to the creator again, not only giving some of the craft elements so that it helped people to not only make the transition from what they were currently used to in craft, but also start giving them the foundational tools, like I just mentioned, on how to start their business. So we created these 2 cutters called the Romeo and the Juliet high definition cutters. And again, we're Italian, so everything's Italian. The love story of Romeo and Juliet and all of those kind of things. But we also created something that was really great for the business owner and the beginner crafter, and everywhere in between, which is Leonardo Design Studio. So I'm going to show you, we're going to walk through Leonardo Design Studio a little bit. I'm going to show you each of the pages, kind of what Leonardo Design Studio can do. And then I think from there, I'm going to show you some of the cool projects that I kind of prepped from Leonardo, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to hop right into Leonardo Design Studio. And the first thing I'm going to do is go over to the home page. Now, Leonardo Design Studio, just so everybody does know, is a free software. So there is 2 different versions of our software. There is Leonardo Design Studio Basic, and then there's Leonardo Design Studio Pro. So if you're a basic user, meaning that maybe you're just getting your feet wet, you're wanting to hop in and maybe try out a new software, try something new, Leonardo Basic is for you. And if you're a business owner, or you're thinking about taking your business to the next level, there's a lot of robust features inside Leonardo Design Studio that will allow you to start taking your craft or hobby and turning it into a business. So with that said, on the front page of Leonardo Design Studio is exactly that. It allows us to bring things like our partnership with Creative Fabrica to the forefront, or anything that we want to put right in your face as soon as you open up the software. Maybe it's a new material, maybe it's a new feature, maybe it's a new event that Siser is going to be going to or hosting. All of that can be put right on that home page for the user. Now, if you're a beginner user to Leonardo Design Studio, this is a great tool for you. However, if you're a seasoned user as well, this is a great place for you to start on the tutorials tab to start not only learning how to utilize your cutter and the effectiveness and the accuracy and the precision of your cutting machine itself if you decide to get a Juliet or a Romeo, but it also allows you to start learning inside Leonardo Design Studio. So not only from basic features and overview features, but also for some pro tools as well. Now for us, we also wanted to take it one step further. So we've added as of recently a support tab where we can start bringing back all of the software, in software and out of software support videos and things like that to help you become a professional of your entire environment. With that leads us into the inspiration tab. So we all know, as a brand new user and even as a business owner, a seasoned user, inspiration sometimes is where we'll find ourselves doom scrolling through Pinterest, on Instagram, and everywhere else. Well, we wanted to give you a great opportunity and a great place to start drawing some inspiration. So let's say, we're getting close to graduation time. So this is a really cool grad cap that was made. So I can click on this inspiration in Leonardo. I not only see what the finished product looks like, I also have a materials list on exactly how it was made or what was used to make it. And then I have a full blog style how-to walkthrough on how to actually create this design, coupled with the final thing, which is the design itself. So I can either select make it, which will bring this over to my design page, or I can heart this design and save it for later. So I can go through the massive list of inspirations that are available to you in all different segments, and they're all categorized for you as well, and learn exactly how to put them together and exactly what get the design itself once I'm done. Now, the design library, when we move from the inspiration page, is exactly that. It's a design library, not only that has basic clip art or simple vectored artwork, but also has some really unique, creative, multicolored designs, as well as things like with our brand new easy crease tool. You also have things like papercraft and how to create boxes and things like that right within Leonardo Design Studio under the design library. And again, much like every other page, everything is categorized by event, by season, by type. So you have access to everything in there. Now, if you're a basic user, I will say that there are some designs in here that are pro specific or that are made for the pro user. But all of those are typically indicated by a little shield inside software. So you'll definitely know and how to navigate navigate through once you get into Leonardo Design Studio. Now, one of the most important pages, and as I was telling Shelly, I say this to everybody, this is my favorite page within Leonardo Design Studio, and this is great for the brand new user starting out or the seasoned user that doesn't have time to have a bunch of different color guides and a bunch of different physical swatches. We've actually built an entire material library for you. So I can go through any Siser material. We'll do Eco Stretch, as that's a newish material for us. I can go down the list. I have every single color available to me. I can select a color, not only get a thumbnail of that color itself, know exactly what attributes that particular color has or that particular line of material. So whether it's laser friendly, it's layerable, it's an iron-on or heat application, and then also whatever certifications come with that material as well. Directly underneath the attributes is exactly what it applies to. So not only am I learning what the material is, learning a little bit about it, understanding how it functions, but now I can even get into what materials it applies to, and then I have my application instructions directly below that as well. So this is an awesome tool. It has every single piece of material that we carry here at Siser, and probably one of the most utilized tools in software, or utilized screens, I would say, in software to date. Yeah.
I love it.
Go
I
ahead.
love the material one is the
Yeah.
best, because otherwise I'm
Yeah.
trying to find the sheet. I don't know where I put the sheet, but we had a question trying to pop
Yeah,
in.
go ahead. Let's see. Is Leonardo Design software only available with the Siser cutting machines? So yes. So the answer to that one is yes. Leonardo Design Studio does work with Romeo and the Juliet high definition cutter. I will say that in the future, our plan is always to expand that outside of just our cutting machines, because one thing here at Siser is that we started in the heat transfer material world, and that's what we do at our absolute best. I love our cutting systems. I love our software. I was lucky enough to be one of the developers of our cutters, as well as one of the developers and people that put our software together on those teams. But I will say our end goal was to be able to connect and open up that world as much as possible. So hopefully soon, but as of right now, it's just with our machines. Yeah.
Yes. And just in the comments, we dropped where you can go look at those. So if you want to look a little closer, I know you can't see them very well behind us, but
Yeah.
they're really pretty machines.
Yeah.
So
I
as a
do.
crafter, I appreciate that they look nice in my
Yeah.
space, but
They're
they also
clean.
work.
They're like pure white. They're clean. Yeah, they look great.
Yes. And the
They look
software, I have So I'm one of the old school designers. I've been making SVGs since the first green one came out, and then
Yeah.
I've been doing design in Adobe products, and
Hmm.
Leonardo is truly right up there.
That's awesome. Well, and that's great feedback too, because for us, and obviously you and I, we've talked many times offline and at events, stuff like that, about the software and the system. But it is one of those things that when we first started working on Leonardo Design Studio, it wasn't Barbara. Yeah, hit the nail on the head. It is super, super accurate, which is what we love about it. But from the day one, it was bring the brand new user who has never touched a cutter, who has never touched software, and give them all of the proper tools and education and training and knowledge and know-how to allow them to start building up to that pro user. So early on, we thought about Corel, we thought about Adobe, we thought about Design Space, we thought about Silhouette, we thought about all of the softwares and different things that people use, what the likes, what the dislikes were. And we really just tried to fill in all the holes first. And now we're really starting to build a really, really robust system that's hopefully going to be an actual, what we can consider a true design software. Hopefully in the next, we'll say the next year or the next coming months. That's really our goal, is move this as quick as possible. But as everybody remembers from Mac Sonoma, that lovely, lovely Mac update for everyone's software, we want to make sure that our software always remains stable, because that's the most fair to us. You shouldn't be using a software that's going to crash on you 24/7, or when you got those really, really, I call them those clutch moments, the moments where like, I got 10 minutes to get out the door. I got to get this cut and applied because I'm going to the birthday party and I should have did this 5 days ago. When those moments come up, the worst thing is like software's crashed. You got to do an update or something crazy. So that's our big goal: stable software that can grow, and the end user hopefully has that for a very, very long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's good. I always joke when it comes to change, because I've had the Cricut forever, like we've talked about
Hmm.
before. And when you get new software, even when they just update things I've been using for years, I'm like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I'm really good at change, but I always
Yeah.
say I love it when everything stays the same too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once
Hey,
I
listen, I
accept
love
it, yeah,
change is awesome at the end of the day, as long as I don't have
not
to
at
be
the
a
beginning.
part of the change as it's happening.
Yeah,
That's it.
not at the
Just
beginning,
get
right?
me after the fact and then catch me
Mhm.
up to speed and I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really just a matter of figuring out, like, where things are and what they're
Yeah.
called. So if you're
Yeah.
nervous about jumping into new software, but I
Mhm.
also love, as an SVG designer with the pro version, I can download those files. So I
Yeah.
can go in and create my own designs. You
Yeah.
don't have to pay the other software fees, and you can just have this one, and
Yeah.
then eventually when you get your Caesar machine, then you can just cut it right from there too.
Yep, and not to mention too, for everybody that is watching right now or may see this after the fact, if you head over to CaesarNA.com, which is our main website here in North America, so SISERNA.com, Adam, or if Anna, if you're in there, could you please drop the link in the comments? We actually have a tab that says Cutter, and then on that tab it says Leonardo, and on Leonardo you can go to that tab on our website right now. You can download Leonardo Design Studio Basic absolutely free. We're not going to ask you for credit cards. We don't ask for anything. You can download it absolutely for free. You can start playing with the basic version. And if you decide that that's right for you, feel free to upgrade to the Pro or find yourself a Caesar cutting machine and start coupling it. But just like a comment above, Cindy had said, and I just wanted to highlight this one. Didn't know about the Caesar until after I received the Cricut as a gift. I get this question or this statement on a regular basis. And here's what I'm going to tell you, Cindy, just like I tell everybody else. It does not matter what cutting system you use, okay? And I know that I'm saying that as somebody who has helped to build a cutting system. At the end of the day, it's about building the foundation for yourself to find whether you want to do this as just a hobby and you have fun with it, which is the reason why we all get into it in general, or you want to elevate that to the next level and start a business with it. I started my business with my Cricut. My Cricut worked for me up until it didn't, and that's okay. But it worked for me to start my business. And for many other people, that thing is what they utilize for their business or Silhouette. So I will say this with a caveat. Although, yes, I'm biased because of our software and our cutters. But here's the thing. We're a heat transfer material manufacturer before we ever got into this. And our materials work for all types of cutters. So you don't have to worry about having one versus the other, but I know that you'll fall in love with it. That's all.
Yes.
But yeah, and
And
then Anna did say that Juliet's on sale right now too, over on our affiliate Happy Crafters for $3.99. So
yes. And I do also want to say, like, if you have a Cricut, it's okay to just have two machines back there.
yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
choose, you know, you don't have to pick. You can have both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you got a perfect setup. Is that the Joy back there too? So you
No,
got the
that
oh
is
no, you
my
got the
very
Romeo and then the
old,
Maker, the
what are they?
Sizzix.
The Cuttlebug. Yeah. So it's like
Oh,
this,
Cuddlebug. Okay,
but they don't
gotcha.
make them. I think it's probably 20
I'm
years.
just proving to people that I am a crafter. I know what a Sizzix is. All right, people. No, I'm just
Yeah, Mr. Crafter, right?
kidding. Yeah.
Yes. I
So
love all the features in Leonardo. I think you guys did an amazing job. So I wanted to make sure we introduced that and how it
yeah,
ties into
absolutely.
all the other cutters.
Yep. Yeah.
But I do think Siser is really just known, not just known, but I think their forefront is obviously the products. But if you have
Hmm.
a great machine and you have great products, guess what? You're going to turn out some great value. But shall we pause and give away a VIP?
Let's do it. I'm
Let's do
excited.
it. Okay, we have a few people on here. I know it's in the middle of the day for some. Hopefully, you guys are watching us on your lunch break. But if you have a business, or if you don't and you'd like to have a business, throw a comment in there and then we'll give it just a couple minutes and we'll give away one of the VIPs here. But we'll take just a minute and kind of start jumping into some of the products.
Mhm.
We have two right now, so 3
Ooh, very cool.
comments. Yeah, so let me tell you guys about the VIP so you know what you're actually trying to win, right? So with the Creativepreneur Summit, it is free for those 3 days. Every day we drop a set of videos so you can watch new ways that you probably haven't thought of that Patrick walks through that you can do with your cutting machines to create a business or create a better business, upscale it. But we have, 8 to 10 sessions every day that you can watch for free. You have 24 hours to watch them and then a new set will drop the next day. And then if you want to upgrade to the VIP, you get access to all those replays. You can start watching today. We've been getting comments. People are loving them. There's tons of great sessions. And I think a lot of times as a business owner, you don't know what to do first. You don't know what to do to move the needle. And that's
Yeah.
what these sessions this year are focused around. So I think you're going to love them. But then we also have a bonus package with our VIP that we're about to give away. So right now it's on sale for $47, but there's over $2,000 worth of items in there, including the replays. Every session has a worksheet. So a lot of times you probably have done this too, Patrick, where you go to a session, you go to a conference and you leave so inspired and then you get back to your office. You're like, well, I guess we'll just keep doing what I'm doing because
Yeah. How did they do that again? Yep.
Yeah. So we put a worksheet in there for users can use those too, but then also with the VIP. So anyway, that is included. If you've registered for free and you didn't see the VIP upgrade, we have that on sale. Like I said, it's normally $97 for that package, but we have it on sale right now. And that sale is going to end on the 22nd of May. So
Okay,
let's
cool.
go ahead and I just selected Janice.
Ooh, nice.
So congratulations. You are the
Congratulations.
winner. Let me see. If you could send us an email, Janice, to hello@wecanmakethat.me. And then Rebecca, if you want to write down her name. Sweet. Okay. So that was fun. I always feel like Vanna during this time of year. Not Vanna, Oprah. She's always giving stuff away. Okay, let's dive into some of the products that Siser had. So it's
Awesome.
not just vinyl.
Yeah.
And I think that's where
it.
the misconception is.
Yeah.
It's not just heat vinyl and sticky vinyl stickers. I tell you, like something in Shelly lights up when somebody says, "Can you make me a sticker?" I'm like, I
Yeah.
can, but it's not going to be what you want because
Yeah.
sticker goes on your notebook. Vinyl goes on your car window. Okay, so do you want to dive in? Because that is really
Let's
just
do it.
the top layer of what kind of products that Siser has.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I got a few different not only materials here to kind of show you guys from the most basic level of our materials. And I say basic to advanced. I want to clarify before we start. I don't mean that the physical materials are more or less easy to use or simplistic to use. What I mean by that is the way that we put these materials together. You're not only going to see some for the folks that are using this, their craft as a hobby right now. You're going to see some of those techniques that you're used to already seeing on a regular basis. But then I'm going to show you how to simply, and we're going to say very simply, elevate some of those designs and the reason why some of these products are here. So I'm going to switch over really quickly to the heat press cam, the whole, oh no, you know what? I'll go overhead really quick first, just because I'm want to show everybody all the camera angles because I'm super excited about them. So, and Anna, don't yell at me. I might have stole this from your office just because I know you're probably watching. Anyway, this material right here is our Easy Weed Eco Stretch or Stretch. Okay, so this right here is a stretchable material, but this is typically, and I know that the light is glaring on some of the carriers, so I promise you I'm going to show this as soon as we press it too. But this is 3 simple colors, and this is what most people start out making. They're not really, their layers aren't touching. There's a little bit of distance in between each of these layers, but there's a reason why I wanted to show this particular design. And as we know that most of the time when we're creating things, especially on, I'm going to use a cotton bag for this one. So we're going to use this cotton bag. So a lot of times what happens with cotton, and everybody is used to the same thing, it does what? It shrinks way down. And it actually takes, as a pro tip, about 4 to 5 washes before your cotton shirt will shrink all the way down to its most natural state. Well, when we're using things like a heat transfer vinyl onto items like cotton, what we end up running into an issue with is that the shrinkage of the actual material will cause the design to shrink, and it will cause either misalignment in registration, meaning that all of those really clean, even gaps won't stay or remain there. They kind of close down a little bit or look uneven. Or if I'm layering one layer on top of itself or on top of another material, what's called the registration, or being able to see that contour very even around the whole design. So there's a couple ways to combat that, and that's what I'm excited to show you guys. Number one, I have our heat press right here. I'm going to load up my garment, or in this case, this bag. And right now, there's a couple of things that I need to do before we actually heat apply our material. Because this is a cotton garment, and because cotton is synthetically dyed most of the time, 99% of the time, or at least I've never seen a fuchsia or a turquoise sheep or anything like that that was used for cotton. So with that, they're usually synthetically dyed and they hold a lot of moisture. And they also, the fibers are very loose. So what we need to do is we need to do what's called a pre-press. So I'm going to take my heat press right now, and I'm just going to simply heat apply on top of my actual garment itself. Now, what this is allowing me to do is not only get all of the additional moisture out of the shirt, but it's allowing me to shrink that cotton down a little bit. So when I get to my application stages, I'm not going to have to worry so much about the cotton shrinking, which will cause my design to misalign. So with that, I have a simple design that we're going to be using on this one today. And it basically says Sunday. However, there's 3 different colors for this design itself. And what I'm going to do is when I line up my colors, what I always like to, or at least when I have a design, what I like to do is do what's called like pre-placement. So this is basically taking all the layers and putting them together as I'm going to see them on the final garment. And I'll put them in place. And then what I'm able to do is peel up every one but the very back carrier, which this, taking out everyone but the back carrier, will lay the foundation and allow me to align all the other pieces of this design. So since we have a couple different presses, I'm going to kind of speed through this as I'm talking. Now, with a heat transfer vinyl, most of the time we're heat applying these for 305 degrees to 310 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds, okay? With something like an Easy Weed stretch or an Easy Weed material, anything that has an Easy Weed in the category has what's called a 1 second tack. So what I can do is I can basically place this on the heat press, apply it for 1 second, pull up the heat press, and then I can peel that carrier off without any issue. Now, the reason why the 1 second tack is so important is that as I get into all of these different layers, this is going to prevent any misregistration on my actual design itself. So I'm going to do something really risky. Is the orange, or the yellow that I have here is actually supposed to sit directly in between these 2 colors. So I'm going to apply the inner color and the outer color first, just to show you that the alignment of these 3 colors will still line up really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead. Now I can take that yellow layer and I'm going to simply put that inside my design, making sure that everything looks good, everything lines up properly, just like that. And I can go ahead and hit it for 1 second and then simply just peel that carrier. So I want to kind of show you this in real time with the bottom of the word, how quickly I can accomplish pressing down 3 layers at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and again, align my first layer up, take the carrier off, wherever that carrier is. There we go. Go ahead and heat apply it for 1 second, peel my carrier off. Really, really easy. Lay down my second layer, which is going to be my yellow layer. Make sure that that's all in alignment. Simply hit it for 1 second. And as you can see, we've now spent 3, 4, 5, and then 6 seconds. I'm going to add a second in between each one for me to actually line it up. So we're talking about 12 seconds, and we have now a fully done garment. And then only thing that I have to do after I'm done, always make sure that if you have any exposed material to the upper platen itself, make sure that you're covering that material when you are heat applying. So at the final press, I simply just heat apply for the remainder time, which is 10 or 12 seconds, whatever may be left. And once we're done here, I now have a completed bag within a few short seconds, and we were able to line up every single product perfectly. What does it, Rebecca say? Oh, need to heat press. Yeah, you're on mute right now. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
There
I had
you
to do
go.
that so I could cough.
You're okay.
And I
You're
forget
okay.
to come out. But yeah, that's so fun. And it just makes you want to go make something now. So
Yeah.
did you not
There
have,
you go.
it didn't look like you had anything over those layers that were already pressed. And then when you pressed them again, do you have a sheet permanently on your heat press?
Correct. No. So there are 2 different ways that you can do that, and good for calling me out on that one. I'm glad somebody caught it. With that, most heat presses have, a lot of times now they just have these, and I can't say it, but we all know the word. It's oh wait, I noticed that you aren't using the carrier
Your
sheet.
sheet. That was
The
the word I
top
was
part
looking
that you
for. Is
already
I was
pressed.
like,
All right.
did he just ruin his heat press live?
No, I'll
Okay.
explain. I'll explain. So everybody knows when I hold this heat resistant sheet up and I say the T word, we all know what this is, because legally we can't say Teflon, I think, but I just said it, so who cares? Anyways, a cover sheet can be made out of many different things. Butcher paper works really well, non-glossy, non-coated butcher paper. A regular, I call them grill paper because legally you can't say Teflon, but in this group we'll say it for this one.
Right.
A Teflon sheet or heat resistant sheet, or honestly, one of the best things that I have found that work well with a heat press, this stuff, just a $1 roll of parchment paper from the dollar store. Well, now it's like the $1.25 store, $1.50 store, but whatever, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
all of these work beautifully, and I apologize in advance. Anybody, this is my public service announcement. Anybody that has watched our pages or our lives, I usually call it a cover sheet. And to the select few people that went out to Michael's and asked them for a cover sheet and got weird looks, I apologize. I meant parchment paper, a grill paper, Teflon sheet, and or butcher paper. So
Yes.
so parchment paper, and I'll actually show you on the next press. I'll use the parchment paper, but for everybody that noticed that I did press directly onto this design, the top parts that were exposed, here's the good news. Most commercial heat presses or commercial quality heat presses do have a nonstick coating that's on the actual upper platen of the heat press itself. This does prevent the materials from adhering to the platen. Here's where it gets really tricky. When we're using thicker materials like a brick 600, which is a super thick material, and for anybody out there, your traditional iron-on, as far as a measurement, is about 80 to 90 what's called microns thick. So I'm just saying that more so because most people are used to feeling a basic iron-on material. Brick 600 is actually 6 times that. So it's 600 microns thick. So it's a really thick material. Well, what happens under high pressure is it has tendency to seep out some of that adhesive. So the reason that we actually cover our heat press or cover our designs up is to ensure that if any of the adhesive escapes underneath the material itself, that it's not going to adhere to the top platen and obviously cause problems on each press. Secondly to that, if you are a sublimation user, it's always a good idea to make sure that you're covering up your top and bottom platens when you're applying things, because if any of that ink physically dyes the bottom platen of your press or the top platen of your press, you guys know that you're going to be wearing the ghosting of that design on multiple shirts after that press. So I always say this: do as I say, not as I do all the time. At the end of the day, we make sure that we clean our presses out regularly, and make sure that I recoat it and everything like that too. So that's why you'll probably catch me doing that from time to time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
I guess I always thought it was the product itself that was going to stick to it, but never thinking about it was actually that glue sticking
Well,
out.
and then there's also that element too. So I always say, as a rule of thumb in a design, if your top layer, basically your top layer carrier sheet, will cover the whole design, you don't need to use a cover sheet or
Carrier.
a parchment paper, butcher
Yeah, a
paper, or
cover.
anything.
Yep.
Yep. But when you do get that exposure, it's always best to make sure that you're covering it up.
Right.
So
'Cause that will slow your
with
project
that,
down.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I said, yeah, because that would definitely slow your project down. But I think
Yeah.
you have a few other fun ones to show us.
Yes, I do. Absolutely. So I'm going to move on to one that actually, ironically enough, Anna's in here, that Anna and I kind of worked on creating this concept together. So one of the cool things here at Siser is that everybody contributes to the meeting. Everybody contributes to the company. So it doesn't matter what you do here at Siser. You have the ability to create designs that are public, be a part of things that are public. It's all a really fun experience. So this is something that Anna and I had kind of put together a while back, but this is basically using 2 layers of regular easy weed to create essentially a neon sign or a faux neon sign. Now, what's really important about this one, oh, thank you. What's really important about this one is this is 2 simple layers, so 2 really easy presses. However, as you can see, there's a white layer, and then behind that, there's the fluorescent layer. So the fluorescent layer is a little bit thicker layer, and then once that thinner layer is laid on top, it gives off that effect of a neon sign. And we did do a YouTube video, if you check out the Siser North America YouTube page, on exactly how to create these as well. But because I'm going to be using one of our famous little mini tees for this one that everybody loves to get and see at shows, I have to use a piece of that I have in my tool belt, which is called a pressing pillow. So if you're not familiar with what a pressing pillow is, a pressing pillow is essentially a heat-resistant, thicker pad that will allow the actual material or your garment to imprint into this pad, which will also not fry or discolor anything. And it's basically to ensure that anytime you have seams in your garment itself, let me see if I can catch that on the overhead. If you have any seams, like in here, I'll pull up a easier one to see. So here we have obviously this big collar right here, and then we also have all of these sleeve seams. So this is going to make impressions into the pad so that everything presses completely flat and straight for me. So when I go over to the heat press, I'm just going to simply put my heat pillow down, and I just have to make a couple quick adjustments. But here's the cool part. While I'm adjusting my heat press, I can still pre-press this garment at the same time. And all I'm trying to ensure is that I get adequate pressure without kind of like smushing it too much. So I've been able to not only preheat this garment, but now I'm also able to ensure that my pressure for my actual heat press is proper as well. So I'm going to go ahead now and lift this up. And I'm going to, just like we did with the other one, take off the parchment paper backing. So quick little pro tip too, if you ever want to cut a lot of designs out at one time, and maybe you just want to store them like this for a long period of time until you're ready to press them, throw a piece of parchment paper on the backside, and it will help you can file them away and preserve all of your designs. But I'm going to go ahead, like I told you, both of my layers are already on top of one another. I'm going to lay down both of them together. And then I'm going to simply peel up that top layer, or any top layer, should I say. In this case, there's only one. And then I can simply take my my heat press, apply for 1 second, and then I can take off that material and rip that off pretty easily. Now, with that, I also have the top layer here to my design. And we just got to make sure that this is going to line up properly. But give me 1 second here, because it looks like a piece pulled up just a little bit for me. All right. Cool. So now I have that top layer. So without the top layer, it looks still like a cool design, cool signature design. However, we can enhance this design by simply adding one more layer, which will kind of act as the neon bulb for me in this neon effect. So I can line up my design properly, and because I'm utilizing that 1 second tack, I don't have to worry about misregistration or anything falling out of line. And because, like I said, this entire page or this entire cover sheet, or not cover sheet, I'm sorry, transfer sheet is covering my design, I can go ahead and heat apply this for 1 to 2 seconds, remove that carrier, and then I can go ahead and grab my cover sheet, or in this case, like I said, I'll use some parchment paper for you. And then I can cover up my design and heat apply it for the remainder of the time, which is about 8 to 10 seconds or so. And then once we get done with this one, we're going to have a really cool, like, faux neon sign effect that we've been able to create really, really quickly, just using 2 pieces of material. So let's go ahead to the overhead really quick, and I'll show you the reveal of this one.
I think that looks really good. So what was can you tell us again what both of the layers were? What exact vinyl you used?
Yep. So both layers are actually easy weed. So in the back, there's a fluorescent easy weed, and then on top, it is just a white layer of easy weed. But it really gives that cool pop out effect, I think. And you can even take this one step further by using like an electric, like a darker gray electric material, and add a slight drop shadow to this design, which really makes it feel like it's popping directly off of the shirt or off of the garment itself. So altogether, it looks really, really awesome. Thank you. The font, I will say, admittedly, to that one, the font and the design of this particular one is all Anna. We were testing it with a few different ideas and a few different concepts, and she came up with this one, which was just a simple script font, and it hit like perfect. So
it is very cute. It looks very neon-y.
Absolutely. So I have a really cool, fun technique that I want to show you. If you would oblige me to do this one.
Let's do it. And if I said no, I think Patrick would do it anyway. So go for it. No.
Yes, 100%. Sorry. So we have 2 different materials currently that I have out here. Okay, number one, we have, like we've been using, we're sticking in the easy weed category, guys. I think that people don't realize there's so many opportunities just with something as simple as using a regular easy weed or a stretch material, which actually this one is, this is easy weed. Okay. Just want to make sure that I said that correctly. And I'm also the one that made it or cut it, so I probably should know this. But with that said, I'm just weeding away the excess material. And as you can see with an easy weed, there really isn't, I'm cutting all of the issues out for people right now. There is no problem with weeding out easy weed. It's a really, really simple product to work with. I think a lot of people don't like the thickness on a garment and things like that. Well, I'm going to show you a technique that really helps to elevate the final look. So this product right here is called Holographic Pearl. Okay, and this one is our Mystic Pearl. And I can simply recreate the design twice. So I basically have this space design, and we're taking it one step further by taking a layer of easy weed underneath it, or easy weed stretch. And then we're going to weed away the excess material from this, and we're going to actually use this material as our top layer to this design. And it's going to be a really cool end effect and end result that I'm really excited to show you guys. So let me get this e-weeded out. Okay. And we'll see if you can see some of the effect when I put these 2 layers on top of each other before we even get them on the press. So I'm just going to weed out the A there. And it is something to note too while I'm kind of going through this, is that all of our products here at Siser, CPSIA compliant. Basically what CPSIA compliance means is that it means that it's child safe. So we test all of our products not only to ensure that they're not only child safe, we also test all of our products to ensure that they're chemically balanced, because we are a global and an international company. We want to make sure that we hit all certifications across the globe. So OCATEX, which are things that as a business owner, you'll start to learn about these certifications and why they're important. But I always want to make sure that I let people know about these products being safe. On most lives, I eat material, so feel free to follow us, and you'll probably see me at some point doing it. But with that said, I'm taking this design, And I have the base layer or the bottom layer, which will be my easy weed stretch. And then I'm going to take this top layer, which is going to be my holographic pearl. And I'm essentially going to not laminate, but put one on top of the other. Now you can't really see because I have some light right around here that's affecting it, but let's go over to the heat press and let me show you exactly what this can do once you get to that final result. So going to take just a piece of test material, and I'm going to just make sure that I dial in my heat press a little bit while I'm pre-pressing. So this is giving me the opportunity, and I'm going to actually show you from this camera angle as well that I see me turning this knob on top. This is essentially me setting the pressure for myself to be appropriate before I actually heat apply. And it's also at the same time allowing me to preheat that garment for myself as well. So let's go back over to, the heat press. And I'm going to take both my layers, put them down. Okay. And like I mentioned before, same thing. We're just going to peel everything but the bottom layer, which again is going to be that easy weed stretch. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and heat apply my easy weed stretch, only a few seconds. We don't need to go very, very long. And sometimes like this, it sticks up. This is not the material sticking. It's actually the static from the carrier itself. As you saw that carrier just fall, is sticking to the upper plat. And so these things sometimes become static and they will stick up there for a moment. So with that said, I have my base layer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit in my top layer, and I'm just trying to fit everything within the cavities that I kind of gave or allowed for in this top layer. I'll take my parchment paper, cover up my design, and then I can go ahead and heat apply this. Now with the holographic pearl, I do want to heat apply it for the remainder of the time. There's a lot of times where we get into certain projects where we're used to that 1 second tack. So every product we want to just be able to tack down, tack down, tack down. Well, some of our products are actually not a hot peel. Some of our products happen to be a cold peel product as well. So we also have to take that into consideration when we're doing any of our application. So I'm going to go ahead now and flip this on over. And I'm just using the coolness from the table, or if you guys have ever heard of a cooling block, you can feel free to use that as well. And then once I'm done and I've cooled it off enough, I can go ahead and start peeling. And I'm just being careful around some of the corners and some of the edges. But just like that now, you saw we were able to take two different materials, elevate both of these materials into one really, really awesome design. There we go. Let's see if I can hold this up. And then now I've been able to get two different types of dimension and two different finishes out of this same exact material. So pretty cool stuff. What did that one say? Oh, amazing how the holographic makes it. Yeah, it makes it like have that little bit of sheen, which kind of ties it all together, but you still see the matted out easy weed stretch behind it, which I think makes it look really, really cool. Obviously, I'm a stretch and a matte finish guy, as you can probably see by my shirt. What's the name of the font used? Ooh, Anna, if you're still in here, will you please give that font name if you have it handy? I'm not sure, Anna. I'm going to put that one on Anna.
Yeah.
So
lots of good
all
comments.
right.
Yeah, that turned out good. And that is also one of those fun products that you could use to upsell.
Yeah.
You know, you like
absolutely.
This design, you want a little different.
Yep. And I actually have one that's a really, really simple one to make. So I want to speed through just a couple because I really want to show those patches. But I want to speed through just a couple more of these to show you kind of these different techniques and how you can use them in your own business to take you not only from, I'm going to call it a basic to a elevated level, but we'll call it a normal sale or normal sales price to now a premium, premium.
And it's just the natural ladder. Like you have to, you don't start out at the top. Nobody does.
Right.
So.
Right. And so for this one, I tried to find same exact design. I just tried to find two colors that would be, let's go this one. Sorry. Try to find two colors that would kind of, show you the way that this design will look like for the end result. But what we have to do with this is we're using two different layers of electric. Let me get you, there we go. We're using two different layers of electric. And one of these we've cut in like a fish scale pattern. Now, this might look like a lot, and you're going to tell me, Patrick, I'm not weeding out all those cavities. This is actually a one pull. So the pattern or the texture was cut directly into the the electric. However, all of the edges are open. So this was just peeling one time. Didn't have to do much, but check this out. Go ahead and pre-press our garment. We're going to skip, we're not going to skip a step, but we're going to speed through the step a little bit. We're going to go ahead and take our design, line it up on our lower platen, and I'm going to start out with the base of my design, okay? I'm going to go ahead and heat apply this for a few seconds. It is electric, so it does need a couple of seconds before we can peel it, but let's see, that looks good. That'll be cool enough. And then now I can take this top layer and I can take it basically from a basic design or a standard design, starter design we'll call it. That's a good word for it, starter design. Put in a little bit of texture to it. Go ahead and cover this up one more time. And then once I actually heat apply this, what this is going to do is not only will the electric on the bottom is going to get a double press, so it will start to kind of mat itself out a little bit. And then that top layer, once we peel that off, is going to add a really cool fish scale texture to this design itself. So let's go this one here. Move these out of the way while it's cooling off. And then now I can simply peel. I'm just double checking. All right, we want to give that another second. Make sure that that's cool to the touch. All right. That, make sure that everything's good, peeling good. There we go. So just like that. Let's go over to this one. You'll be able to see that end result, there we go, what that end result looks like. So it's now adding a little bit of texture, a little bit of depth, a little bit of a cool sheen because it is still a glossy sheen, but the backside of this design is like matted out. So it adds a really, really, really cool two-tone effect, I think, in a fun way as well. So with that, there are also one quick technique that I'm going to show you, and then I just want to show you a bunch of examples of them, okay? And I'm going to show you the examples first because I think that the examples are way cooler than my technique that I'm going to show you to make them, but I think you should see them still. All right, so for most people out there, I have kids, okay? A lot of you guys have kids or you have nieces and nephews and things like that. Well, most of them are in school. A lot of them are playing sports. A lot of them are getting those things that we hold near and dear to our hearts from our time as athletes is varsity letters, right? We love the way that those look. Those chenille patches look really, really great on a varsity jacket. However, there is a way to create that same type of varsity look and varsity patch feel utilizing a material like Strip Flock Pro, which is a material that we carry here at Siser. And I'm going to go to overhead so you can really see what these look like, because I think these turned out really, really awesome. But we have a material here at Siser called Strip Flock Pro. Strip Flock Pro is more of a felt feeling finish. It doesn't have the typical vinyl finish that you guys are probably used to feeling. It feels more like the inside of a ring box. So, you know, a K jeweler, any jewelry store, that material that's inside the ring box, that's really what this feels like. And coupled with things like fleece or like a Letterman jacket or something like that, you really, really get a cool opportunity to create varsity style patches and letters and things. So I want to show you a couple that I thought was awesome that was made by our team here at Siser. And all of these are done in the exact same way, utilizing Strip Flock. So here's one. There's another one there. There's a few different ones that I'm just kind of laying out so you can really get an idea for the uniqueness and the versatility of this product itself. So now you guys are talking about elevating yourselves from a craft or hobbyist to creating a full-scale business. Well, this is a great opportunity to get with whether it's local school, local teams, things of that nature, especially if you have kids that are already in. You guys already know as boosters and you know, booster club people and stuff like that, that you know, we have the ins in the school. So here's some really cool ways that you can create these faux patches just utilizing Strip Flock Pro. So I figured I would show you really quickly the simple way to do it. And then I'm really excited to see kind of after the event and after you guys have learned all of these techniques, see, you know, what you're coming up with on your own you know, for these things. So I'm going to grab a couple layers of strip flock that were already cut up. These are show samples. So these designs are great. I'm not trying to discredit them from these really cool patches. These are all of our show samples. So you're going to really see not only here today what you can do in creating things like these patches, but I'm also going to show you kind of what you would see when you go to a trade show on how we actually apply these. So I'm going to go ahead and take, let's do the white shirt for now. And because, again, I have that collar, what I want to go ahead and do is I want to cover that up. Or I mean, I use, a pressing pillow to ensure that all of the seams and things like that won't get in the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat apply this, but at the same time, as we already talked about, that I'm turning the knob and making adjustments to my heat press. This is allowing me, again, to make sure that I get a solid press onto my design. So I just want to go back to these just so you guys have a chance to kind of see them a little bit more. And let me move some stuff out of the way here. But I really, really love the way that these turned out. So from there, we've done a quick application, or a quick press on our shirt itself. I have multiple layers of strip flock. So here's the cool thing about strip flock is that you can actually put it on top of itself multiple times, which will allow you to layer it on up and create a patch. So we're just going to start that order kind of one after another. So I'm putting the first layer of my patch on. I only have to heat apply it for a couple of seconds, and it is a hot peel off the garment itself. Now what I'm going to do to create this patch, and again, we're creating it directly onto a garment as opposed to the freestanding patches that we have off to the side, is I'm going to simply add in an additional layer, an additional circle to this design. Heat apply that for a few seconds. And then again, I can peel that carrier off of there. Make sure that you start your peel slow from the corner. And you'll notice when I peel, I start off slow before I rip it off. This is just allowing me one last chance to make sure that all the parts of the design are completely down and that I'm not going to have any pull up. In the event that that happens, though, it's not a massive deal. We can just simply heat apply again. So now I'm going to add my third layer to the patch itself. And I'm just making sure that that lines up and all my contours are aligned. And because, again, that carrier covers the entire design, I don't have to worry about the carrier itself or the material touching the upper platen of the press. Again, I'm just starting off slow, making sure everything peels properly. And not only does this patch work with regular contours or standard contours like a circle, but even because of the material not shrinking on me, because again, we did our due diligence and did our pre-press, we can actually apply another layer of heat transfer vinyl to this, making sure that lines up properly. Go ahead and give that a couple of seconds to heat apply. Then what I'm going to do on that last layer is just make sure that I'm peeling slowly to ensure that no pieces of it comes off. And then I can simply heat apply for the remainder of the time. And now once we get done, we now have a full done 4 layers, so super thick patch that we've now put onto a garment, whether it's a bag, it's a hat, as you can see, I'm a hat guy, or it may be the sleeve of a t-shirt or a jacket, a Columbia, something of that nature, will give you a really cool end result just like this. So now you can see I've not only have my patch done, but it's actually thick on the garment itself. So you can see it's an actual patch, much like what you see on the table. So it's a really quick, convenient, super easy way to kind of recreate. The only differences in all of these patches is just the orientation or what way you layer all of these designs to really get a full color, a fully created brand new patch that now I can store these for later, and then I can go heat apply them onto something. I can pin them to my backpack. Whatever I need to do after the fact is kind of up to me. So, but that is a really quick, easy way to make a patch.
Those are really, so was all the products, I have like 5 questions now, but I wanted to let you get through it. So are all the products you used on that to make those patches, it's all the same?
These are all exactly the same. Yep. They're under the Strip Flock Pro category. Yep.
Can you add vinyl to them? Like, can you add puff vinyl onto the top of those?
So I love that you say that. So here at Siser, we have some products that are what we call layerable and some that are not layerable. But when we say that a product is not layerable, that doesn't mean that it can't be a top layer only. So there's a lot of those products that we have, like the electric line, where I may just couple this patch. And I wonder if any of these, none of the ones on here were made with them. I don't think I have one that has the has like a top layer to it. But you can heat apply onto the top layer. So whether that's using an electric or a metal heat transfer material, that'll give you more of a metal finish to a patch, or maybe that is using easy weed that'll give you a different color way on a patch than what you're opting for. All of that can be done. It's just being sure, again, in software, if you do download Leonardo Design Studio, everything's right there. But you can also go to siserna.com. On all of our product tabs, it lets you know exactly what type of layerability a product has, as well as we have a mobile app. So if you are an Android or iOS user, you can download the Siser North America or Siser NA mobile app. And from there, you have the ability to look through all of our products, all of our colors, check out all of our videos, check out all the new news here at Siser, but most importantly, how to use our products, how to apply our products, and what they work with, all kind of wrapped into one.
Yes, I love that. And I think
Yeah.
there's so many opportunities for that at schools, because not
Yeah.
only are there school activities, but then there's all those extra side ones. But I
Mm-hmm.
do also want to mention that I don't know if it's just here in our district, but in order to use logos or sell merchandise related to your school, you probably have to reach out to that school and make
Yeah.
sure that you are an approved vendor with them. Sometimes
Yes.
that means a kickback, sometimes that just means permission. And then, yeah. So it's usually
Yeah.
a very simple process, but I just want to throw that out there too.
Yeah, no, actually that's a really good thing to make mention of. If you are doing anything, especially for the school district, or you are doing anything for, say, a municipality of some kind, number one, copyright is the most important. So we got to make sure that we cover our bases, make sure that we have the legal right to use these designs and these logos. However, if you need any certification paperwork, like I said, our products are certified not only in CPSIA compliance, which is a Consumer Product Safety Improvement Act that basically deems your product safe for kids between the ages of 0 and 14. We have our OCATEX approved, which basically certifies your product for over 350 different toxic chemicals to ensure that there's not high volumes of those, or if any at all. We also have vegan okay products and vegan friendly products. We also have, hint, hint, because this is coming out in a little bit here, we may have some 100% recyclable, some biodegradable. We might have some stuff coming down the pipeline in the eco-friendly world as well. So if you have or need any of those certifications, you can always reach out to us on our support team at support@siserna.com, and they can get you any of that paperwork that you need as well. So I always tell people, start out in the school, especially if you have kids that are already in the school. It is the best place to start. There's so many, as my wife and I are part of the PTC or PTO, whatever your school district calls it. We're a part of that. So we, all the time we have events where we're looking for vendors. I mean, I typically end up becoming the vendor at my school, but with that, we're always looking for people that can make t-shirts, can make goodies for the kids, can do things and create things for the kids. So there's so much opportunity out there, especially as you're still learning and getting more involved and understanding your business model and what you want to do long term. Start out in the schools. They're really easy. And I promise you, a lot of times they're very forgiving because there's not a lot of people that'll go out and do those kind of things for the kids and for the schools. So they will make sure to take care of you, and you obviously take care of them. So
it's great to be there and support those in your community. And
yep.
even if it's one of those things that doesn't make you a ton of money, sometimes it just gives you those contacts. So if you're building a business or you just want to do something for fun. But I wanted to point out also that Carolina was the font that Anna thought she used, but she did a little bit of tweaking to it.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. I love that. I love the look of how professional it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 5 years ago, if somebody would have said you can make those with your little Cricut machine or your little, your little 12-inch cutter, I'd have been like, can you? And you
I agree.
Right?
I agree with it. When, the thing is too, early 2000, late 90s, all of this stuff was made out of PVC. So it really wasn't super safe. It was super thick and heavy on the garment. And everybody that's in here, everybody in here that knows heat transfer, what I call heat transfer vinyl, is super thick and it's super rigid on the shirt, and it doesn't really work super well. So here at Siser, as we've started to thin, and even thin out our products some more, and create stuff like this, I made actually today for this event. I made this just for you. I just wanted a new shirt, a new Siser shirt. But this right here is a super, super thin, really light, super stretchable, breathable product. It's not that same PVC plastic anymore. All of these things are polyurethane based or water based compositions, which makes them super thin, makes them super light, and makes them very eco-friendly as well. So it's I always say it's not the mom and pop's heat transfer vinyl anymore. It's a different world as things like DTF and DTG and sublimation started making more and more of a name for itself. We had to do something that would hopefully want people to get people to want to buy it and try it and fall in love with it again.
Yes. Okay, there was a question, but it was answered. So
okay, cool.
Somebody asked what the mermaid pattern, but it was Siser's easy patterns. Is that right?
Yeah, if it was
fish scales.
Yeah. Oh, so this one, if it was this design itself, yeah, this is just electric. But this is just a fish scale pattern cut out of our regular electric material.
Is that pattern in Leonardo in their library?
No, this one's not. This is just one that I pulled from Google, just something just something to make. Because in Leonardo, we have a really quick and easy slice or knockout tool. So you can throw a pattern on top of a square. You can knock it out really quick and make it super easy for yourself too. Yeah, but if you are referring to our mermaid pattern, we do have a mermaid pattern that's part of our Easy Pattern Plus line. So that is just pre-masked patterns that you can cut them in a mirrored fashion so that when you go ahead and heat apply them, they heat apply just like a regular heat transfer vinyl. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, did we get through all the patterns or all the products that you wanted to showcase?
I think we got through every single one. Cool. I rushed through one of them too fast, I think.
that was good. We're just over an hour, so I can't believe everybody is still here. We pretty much
appreciate you guys listening to me talk for so long. I'm surprised if Anna answered you and you didn't have to text her. I'm surprised she's listening to me this long. You had to text her. I texted her.
That's okay.
She knows. We have a live tomorrow. She knows I talk too much anyway. She usually tunes me out when we're in the room. So
she's probably like, do I seriously have to watch another one of Patrick's videos? Yeah. That's too funny. Yeah, so this was exciting. I am really excited for everybody to watch our session, which is dropping on day 1. So they can take a lot of these products and a lot of these things, and then I think your session is kind of like the next level of this.
Yeah, it really is just trying to find ways to elevate what you're already doing, because most of you guys in this summit, well, I would say a majority of you knows what heat transfer materials are, have an idea of how to use them or have used them before. My big goal and our big goal here at Siser was just to show you how to take, a simple design like we did on a shirt and take it to the next level by making something really, really incredible at it, to obviously show you not only how to do them, but also understanding, how much this stuff costs. The patch like this is right here in total, this is about 80 cents worth of heat transfer vinyl for this patch. If I were to go out and buy a chenille patch that looked identical to this, I'm paying probably $8 to $10 just for the patch itself. This right here costs me less than $1 to make, and I can go and sell this at a premium for, say, $5. Because that's the worst part about everybody starting a business, is nobody ever knows how to price their products. And when we find out how to price our products, we miss the one most important thing, the labor that goes into your products, guys. You're business owners now. We have to start thinking about charging ourselves for our time, energy, and effort to make these things as well. So this is a perfect example. I've made it for less than $1. I could sell it for $5 if it's to the local school, or I could sell it for a premium like a regular patch that you would get. It's all up to you and what you want, but we just want to show you how to creatively do that and start that business for yourself.
Yes, and at the summit, if you're registered for the free or the VIP, you can sign up for all of our giveaways. And there's hundreds and there's thousands of dollars worth of giveaways this year. And one of them, I'm so sorry. So the Jennifer with, now my phone rang and kind of distracted me. Sorry about that. So
it's probably Anna calling you to tell me to get off the.
Is he done yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the summit, there's the giveaways. One of them is Jennifer's session, and she's
Mhm.
talking about pricing, but she's also giving away a Romeo.
Maybe a Romeo. Might be a Romeo. Probably is a Romeo.
I'm pretty sure it's a Romeo.
Yeah.
So if you have not
Yeah.
registered, you're going to want to register. Like I said, we have tons of giveaways for that. But I am curious who's watching still has a Romeo or the
A Juliet.
Juliet.
Yeah.
So if you're on, comment.
I can see a couple people in the comments, so I can pick out a couple people I know already have one.
And I might have a giveaway. So
Ooh, nice.
yes, Karen says thank you. A couple of them say no, not yet.
Okay.
Karen Walker says she has a Juliet.
Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie.
He goes, me.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, Karen, we have a very fun prize for you. So if you want to reach out to us, I will send you a fun little gift box with
Awesome.
some treasures in there. And some of them say no, not yet. But if you scroll through the comments here, you can go check it out. The Juliet was just reduced in price, so it's only $3.99.
Well, and that's also really important, I think, to note, because I think a lot of people asked us why we dropped the price. And I think it was just to make sure that the Juliet was more obtainable. It wasn't because we're, trying to get rid of inventory or all the other stories that I've heard. It was really truly because when we originally launched our cut, well, it's just more or less what I hear in the background. That's all. But the big reason is when we launched the Romeo and the Juliet, we not only wanted to give these very robust commercial style cutting machines, we wanted to give them for a price that not only crafters and brand new business owners were going to be able to obtain in a price point. So the Juliet was $499. The Romeo was $699, which typically a 24 or in our case a 25.5-inch cutter at that size would run you, $1,000 on up for that type of cutting machine. But with that, we wanted to make the price point obtainable. And we still had some folks that were like, hey, COVID happened. I don't make that kind of money anymore. I'm on disability now, or I lost my job. So these are reasons also why we want to reduce not only the price of, say, cutters, but materials and things like that at certain points in time to allow you an opportunity as well to obtain these things. And because we understand how the world was affected, right, a few short years ago, and how everybody's still recovering from that. So we just want to take care of you, not only in the education, but the physical products as well. That's what the most important thing to us is.
Yes, I think that speaks a lot to your brand. And I think,
Yeah.
as Siser's always one that I was surprised how supportive you were
Yeah.
to not just somebody like myself who's doing a craft business, but just the craft user. And
Yeah.
I think lowering the price so that more people could have fun with it was obviously just a really big testament.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Just reading a couple of the comments. Yes, Karen says it is by far the best. I
Awesome.
think so too.
Well, that's very cool.
I have to say I was really surprised first time I cut something.
Yeah.
Because everybody says their machines are the best. When I got Romeo fired up, I was like, oh, they weren't lying.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's awesome.
But
Very cool.
And when I had little kids is when I first got my Cricut, and I was like, this thing is so loud that even when they were napping and I was on a different floor in the house, I felt like, because my daughter, bless her soul, but she is not a good sleeper.
Yeah. Well, and that's even for me. Like my cutters are down in the basement, and with a Cricut, and I had a Cricut and a Silhouette. And again, it's not to say, there's also other pro tips that you could give to somebody that has a Cricut or a Silhouette to show you how to reduce some of the noise and stuff like that inside your cutter. But I did really see when we got our first prototype in, we were all really excited to turn it on for the first time and use it and all of those kind of things. But when the first prototype landed and we all listened to it, we had the exact same reaction that most people do. You're like, is it running right now? I can't hear it. So it was a really cool thing that we finally had a system that was not only fast, because it is 3 times faster than the average craft cutter, super accurate down to 0.00001 millimeter, which is super accurate for print and cut. It doesn't have an optical eye. It has an actual high definition camera built into it with 3 adjustable light levels for any type of material that you're cutting, whether it's sticker vinyl or maybe it's lamination on top of your sticker vinyl, glitter, sublimation, anything. But the best part is it was super quiet too, and it was an efficient machine. So we were really, really excited about it. And we had not changed, I will say, with Scout's honor, we have not changed anything about the cutters since the launch day or since the first prototype. So there wasn't really anything that we broke and dissected the cutter and said, hey, we need to fix this. It was pretty flawless right from the start. So we were very happy that we had done our due diligence and we had so much knowledge in this industry to be able to give probably way too much information about what we wanted and how we wanted it to operate, but it came out to be a really cool end result. So we were happy with it.
Yeah, it definitely is. And when you mentioned it was faster, I sent a little test cut back here and I hit sitting at my desk here with my computer. I hit send. By the time I got back there, it was done.
Yep.
And the other machine, by the time I get back there, it's still thinking about what it wants to have for lunch tomorrow. I don't know. So anyway, I love that it's fast. And especially if you're doing products for sale and you're cutting a lot of them, if you're making badges for the whole cheer team and you got to cut out 24 of them, it's going to save you time. And at this point, time is money in your business.
Of course.
So
very cool.
All right. I think we're done. Okay. One thing I have to ask about working at Siser. So you guys are always making those little t-shirts. When one of your employees has a baby, do they get like 37 mismatched little baby t-shirts?
Yep. I can say that I've experienced it twice now because I have two littles since I've been working at Siser, and all my kids get spoiled. Actually, my youngest was up here because we're doing a belated Cinco de Mayo potluck upstairs. So she came in with mom today to bring us our food for the potluck. So she comes around and she grabs every single mini tee she can find. She goes into Leonardo. She says, I want this elephant on this t-shirt from my doll. But yeah, we go crazy. I mean, we're a decoration company. So a heat transfer manufacturer. Then everybody in this office are crafters. I mean, every single person from customer service to marketing, to support, to sales, everybody, there's not a single office here that doesn't have our cutter inside of the office and or a branded cutter of some kind. And there's not a person here that doesn't create. So everybody goes nuts, especially when people have kids. Brett had a kid. I want to say Peyton, I want to say she's 8 months or 6 months old. And I mean, she got like 30 onesies custom made by everybody in the office. So.
That's so cute. They don't need clothes, which they outgrow the fastest. So that's fun.
Do.
You can recycle them. But I do have a couple of those baby shirts around here too.
Well, and then you saw at Wallapalooza what the company did for me for my birthday. They all printed my face on a shirt for my birthday. And they're still wearing those things all over the place. And I'm like, guys, it's old now. We're done with it.
Right. But it's even funnier because when I went there, I mean, I knew that Siser was a brand, but I did not know that was you. So I was like, why is there what? Anyway, it was hilarious. It's very fun. All right. Well, I guess we will see all of you guys over at the Creativepreneur Summit, May 19th. Awesome. We've got some fun things going on. Again, get registered so that you can get to the giveaways. Some of them even have daily entries, so you can earn more points. A lot of people forget that, or they think, oh, there's giveaways, but there's 5,000 people registered, so I won't win. But when 4,975 of those people are thinking the same thing, you've got a really good chance of winning. So I always tell people, get over there and register. So once you register for free, it'll ask you if you want to jump into the VIP package. If not, that's great. You can still continue through the process, and then we'll send you a link so you can jump into the Facebook group, and then you can also go register for all of those giveaways.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Patrick. That was fun. No As usual, I learned a ton, so I'm sure other people did as well.
Absolutely. And really quick, before we get done here, I just want to, again, I know I told you at the top of this thing, thank you so much for hosting these types of events and doing these things. I don't think you understand. I know there's a lot of comments that come through and you get a lot of feedback on these, but I don't think you understand the impact that these type of events have, not only on business owners that are trying to create, but also the industry in general. It's a really, really awesome thing. So thank you. And then just a big thank you to my team that helped, Anna, Adam, all of Graphic, Trevor for knocking out the video content. Our team, we are very, very blessed and happy to have the people that work with us every single day. So thank you to everybody upstairs that allow me to do the easy part and just come on camera and talk. So I appreciate you guys all for these things, because this is just something that is always really fun to do, but I try to always give them all the credit because they deserve it all. They're the maestros. Awesome. So I'm just the talking head that says, hey, look at this. It looks cool.
I love it. Yes, everybody there, either working with you guys as a sponsor for this event, or even when I got my Romeo and getting it set up and making sure it worked the way it was supposed to work, I was amazed at how many people came at me to make sure it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of us.
Like, it's the team that you guys have. So they love what they do, and that's something that you don't see with every single company. So it's fun to support somebody who has a product worth supporting, and then have those same values behind it. So if you have a creative business, you're going to want to go follow them and join us at the Creativepreneur Summit.
Love it. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.